don't need to tell any of you, but I'm going to do it anyway, because that's what you do when you're up here on the stage, is tell people things that they already know, but hopefully in a twist, with a new twist, and that is that things have changed. Things have changed in a dramatic way, and I'm talking about the needs, the deep human needs, and the desires of both employees and customers. They're looking to the brand to do something very, very different, very, very new. They're looking to the culture to provide something different, something very, very new. And so we have to focus on the brand and the culture in a way that we've never done before. And that way is to think of them as somewhat inseparable. Imagine an infinity symbol. One side is brand, one side is culture. They can't be taken apart. There's no such thing as half of infinity. This is a brand. I don't even have to tell you what brand this is. You know. This brand is very well constructed, very well thought out. Every piece put in there just so. Considerations like color, expression, all taken into account. Because that's what you do with brands, is you manage them. When you don't manage brands, you've got chaos. There's always got to be an adult in the room. You've got to keep things in check. This is a culture. Oh, good morning. Yeah, this is a culture. It's not a very good culture. In fact, it's a toxic culture. This culture is devouring its host. It's an unintentional culture. This culture is destroying value. This was a loaf of bread. It is now compost. This is also a culture. But this is a controlled culture. This is one that was planned, done on purpose. This is actually a handprint from a 5-year-old who just came in from the playground. Parents. But this culture is teaching us something. This culture is an opportunity to learn, to study, to do things better, to do things in a very different way. So we're looking to build both strong brands and strong cultures, because everybody knows what happens when you don't have a strong brand and culture. It's a train wreck. Even if you have, say you have a strong brand, but a weak culture, then your customers will come, but they'll be disappointed by the product. They'll be disappointed by the results, by the service. Suppose you have a weak brand, but a strong culture. You're going to be the best kept secret, and that's not going to do anybody any good either. When you have a weak brand or a weak culture, it actually has real impacts. It costs everybody money. It costs the gross domestic product money. You are costing me money if you have a weak brand and a weak culture. Disengagement is a big problem. 68.5% report when they're not doing well, it's because they feel disengaged. 68% report this. It costs money. The share price goes down over time. You underperform your competitors who have stronger brands. It increases the turnover of talent, and we know how hard it is to find and retain talent these days. You're giving this stuff away if you've got a weak culture or a weak brand. And that turnover costs you money, 2 to 3 times someone's salary to replace them. It's also dangerous. More accidents in weak cultures. So think of brand and culture again. Okay, here we've got this continuum. Brand on one side, culture on the other. And therein is actually part of the problem, because we're looking at this as a flat thing when it's actually dimensional. When you take your team out and you help rebuild a school in Costa Rica, but you wear your t-shirts, Is that brand or is that culture? Mixed is a salad place in San Francisco, but read what they've got up here on their billboard. 99% of waste diverted from landfills, 3 years average length of employment, 1 million pounds of local produce. They are not selling salad, they're selling their culture. Their brand is based on their culture. When somebody posts on Glassdoor something negative, does that hurt the brand or does that hurt the culture? When somebody posts something nice on Twitter, does that help the brand or does that help the culture? This is the question. Who's going to figure this out? Who's the superhero? Well, it's all of you. It's the CEO. I'll let you figure out which one of these is the CEO. But I'm going to tell you which one of them is marketing. That's you folks there in the middle, Batman. You know, Alfred, give me the KPI dashboard. So leadership, HR, and marketing all need to work together on this. And they don't, right? The CEO's got those plates spinning, and he's just spinning those plates. And he's focused on keeping those plates spinning. He's got so much to do. Marketing, you guys are always looking out there. What's going on out there? What are the customers doing? What are my competitors doing? What's going on out there? HR, well, we all know HR. They've got a lot of stuff to deal with that's very much hire, fire, benefits, et cetera, et cetera. They've got a tough job. So, yet, brand is generally thought to be owned by marketing. Culture is generally thought to be owned by HR. How is that cohesive? That's actually trying to tear it apart. But when like I said, if we don't think of this as a flat thing, but what we realize is that this is a representation of something in space. It's actually, if you unpack that, like those things you put in your window, to keep the sun out in your car, if you unpack it, it's actually a circle. You untwist that continuum, it's a circle. And you can't tell where brand starts and culture ends, or culture ends and brand starts. They're the same damn thing. They're just different expressions of the same damn thing, but they are the same damn thing. They have to be thought of as a unit. A peanut butter and jelly sandwich, yes, it has a peanut butter side and a jelly side, but it is a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. You cannot deny this. There's no such thing as a peanut butter sandwich that's also a jelly sandwich. It is a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It's that simple. So the secret lies in your brand and culture strategy, because it turns out that what makes a good brand strategy, mission, vision, values, brand essence, understanding your target audience, having a great persona, the positioning, the things that underpin your brand, and the narrative of your brand. All those things work on the outside, they also work on the inside. I can guarantee you these days that your customers are just as interested in your core values as your employees. They are just as interested in your narrative as your employees. And this is great because it brings growth. When you concentrate on brand and culture as a single thing, you bring growth. Lower absenteeism. That makes people stick around longer, because it costs money to have people come in and out the revolving door. It's safer. Isn't that nice? The quality's better. You make better products. You have better service. Your customers like it more, my friends. Your purchase consideration goes way up when you focus on brand and culture. Your productivity is better. You get to charge more. That means you make more money. Suddenly the CEO and the CFO are really happy. Brand and culture are a continuum, but they're the same thing. You have to treat them as the same thing. Approach them as the same thing. Look at them from the same point of view, and that is the strategy in the middle. That's the nexus, where these two distinct units cross. Treat them as something that's dealt with at the nexus. Build a strategy that drives brand and culture from the very same point of view. Because when you do, you derive power that makes your brand and your culture a far better thing for your customers and your employees. Thank you.